Sked Live. I'm your news host, Katie Ann White. It's Thursday, March 8th, and here's what's making news now. Ontario Tory leadership candidate Doug Ford is slamming the PC party for refusing to give members more time to vote in the leadership race. The PC party is staying strict on the voting deadlines, regardless of request form 3 of the 4 leadership candidates for a 1-week extension. Doug Ford claimed he's met with many outraged voters who have not received their verification packages, making them unable to vote. A 2-step verification process was set up after the PC's party membership management system was hacked in November. Now the party requires members to submit photo identification to receive a code in the mail. Members who say they are still waiting for their packages include Ford, Caroline Mulroney, and Tanya Garnick-Allen. The deadline for voting will be at noon on March 9th, and the winner will be announced this Saturday. Toronto Mayor John Tory is calling for an independent review of the Toronto Police Service's handling of the Bruce McArthur case as new details emerge about previous contact police had with the alleged serial killer. According to sources familiar with the incident, homicide detectives currently dealing with the case did not know about the 2016 questioning until after McArthur's arrest in January. Toronto police began investigating the disappearances in 2012. The force has been criticized for dismissing the community's concerns about a possible serial killer. Mayor John Tory released a statement Wednesday saying he was deeply disturbed by the latest revelations in the McArthur case. McArthur is facing 6 charges of first-degree murder in the deaths of men who began disappearing from the church Wellesley Village in 2010. Viola Desmond, a Canadian civil rights icon, was honored today as the new $10 bill featuring her image was unveiled today. Desmond becomes the first Black person and the first non-royal woman to be on a regularly circulating Canadian banknote. Desmond is best known for her refusal to leave the whites-only section of a Nova Scotia movie theater on November 8, 1946, nearly a decade before Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on a segregated bus in Alabama. Desmond's name also graces the Halifax Transit Harbor Ferry, a Canadian Post stamp, and there are plans for streets to be named in her honor in Montreal, Halifax, and a park in Toronto. Happy International Women's Day! Today's events are being held around the world to help celebrate women. The global activism is motivated by gender equality, especially within the workplace as well as in support of women's sexuality. This year's activities have been especially fueled by movements such as Time's Up and the Me Too movement. Countries around the world are embracing empowerment by marching and holding events dedicated to gender equality. Women in Spain are holding a 24-hour strike in regards to the massive wage gap and gender violence in Madrid and Barcelona. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is in town to celebrate Women's Day by increasing pro-women budget initiatives and focusing on gender gap issues. Sophia Trudeau also delivered a speech that received divided reactions online. Mrs. Trudeau highlighted that boys and men who promote gender equality are a crucial aspect for the movement. And here at Humber, Ignite is hosting an event at North Campus featuring speaker Arlene Dickinson as well as Caitlin Bistro in support of women's rights. Now to Zach with our entertainment news.
Thanks, Kadian. Gamers, rejoice. Canada's biggest video game expo is here this weekend. EGLX will open up its doors this Friday at noon and will run all through the weekend. The expo features guests from professional esports players to YouTube creators. Also, gamers will have the chance to meet with some of the industry's top developers. There will also be video game tournaments, panels, art stations, and more. Toronto's Lakeview restaurant is eating up a new slice of fame. The restaurant's co-owner, Fadi Hakim, is adding key lime pie to the menu after the dessert was seen being served in the restaurant in Guillermo del Toro's The Shape of Water. Moviegoers are thrilled with the steps that the restaurant is taking to replicate the feel of the 2017 film. This isn't the first time the Lakeview has met with fame, though, appearing in other films like Hairspray and Boondock Saints. Back to you, Kadian.
Thanks, Zach. 2 members of U.S. President Donald Trump's cabinet suggested on Wednesday that Canada and Mexico might escape new tariffs on steel and aluminum. The administration will initially exclude Canada and Mexico from the tariffs and exemption they would lose if they can't agree to an updated North American Free Trade Agreement with the U.S., says White House Trade Advisor Peter Navarro. Trump announced the planned tariffs on March 1st after a Commerce Department investigation found that imports of the metals pose a risk to national security. Trump has until April 11th to make a decision on steel and until April 19th on aluminum. UK investigators have announced that ex-Russian spy Sergei Skripal and his daughter Yulia Skripal were likely poisoned by a nerve agent. Skripal, 66, and his daughter Yulia were found slumped unconscious on a bench in Salisbury on Sunday. Skripal was a former colonel in the Russian military intelligence. He had been spying for Britain's Foreign Intelligence Service when he was convicted of treason in Russia in 2006. In 2010, he was part of a high-profile prisoner exchange with the United States and sought refuge in the UK, where he has been living a quiet life in the small city of Salisbury. UK police say that the investigation has turned to focus on identifying the perpetrators behind what they described as a deliberate targeting of the Skripals. Both Skripals are being treated at the Salisbury District Hospital. Danish inventor Peter Madsen pleaded not guilty at the start of his trial in the death and mutilation of Swedish journalist Kim Wall aboard his homemade submarine. Madsen is accused of sexually assaulting, torturing, and killing Wall, a US-based Swedish journalist who joined him on his vessel for an interview last August. Madsen admitted to dismembering Wall's body and disposing of it at sea, but says Wall died accidentally. Prosecutor Jakan Busch-Jepsen is seeking a life sentence for Madsen, the most severe punishment possible in Denmark. Madsen pleaded guilty to lesser charges in the case, including violating the Maritime Act. And for sports news, head to skedline.com to listen to Galzar Wanderers Sportcast. Thank you for tuning in with us on Sked Live today. I'm Katie Ann White, and we'll see you next time.